This week on The Gadget Show.
We're heading for the hills to live the wildlife.
I can hear.
Expect torture,
Pain.
I'm in agony.
fear,
And adrenaline.
as Jason, John and I go head-to-head, testing some of the coolest outdoor gadgets ever invented. Hello and welcome to what for us has been the coldest, most uncomfortable, yet most eventful gadget show that we have ever filmed.
You've got to watch this week's challenge. It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's fair to say that this challenge took us out of our techno comfort zone. So, am I right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It plonked us squarely in the middle of the freezing, inhospitable surroundings of the great outdoors.
Yep, there were tantrums from him, unadulterated joy from him.
And a great big accident involving her.
About the accident, really, Susie badly hurt herself. At one point, we were quite worried. You know, the word medivac came to mind. In fact, could you show the viewers your stitches?
No.
Because I think that's part of the whole gadget show ethos, isn't it? That if we, if we're hurt during filming, it's only fair the viewers get to share in the gore.
No, you're just making that up.
No,
it's
really.
just under here.
Well, I'll tell you what, to get you in the middle, I'll show you mine, because I've got some bruises as well.
see yours.
Yeah, I
That's
fell
what
off,
you
yeah.
mean.
I just
Susie,
open
stitches
this
alone.
up.
No, don't take your clothes off.
Where is
Look at
it?
that, John.
No.
Bright purple. Hold that, lad. Just hold that. Hang on, I've got another one down here.
I think you're supposed to have
Size of
on
that.
flicker.
Anyway.
Look, just hold that. Feel that lump.
good.
Feel that lump.
I don't...
Oh,
what
that
a
was the
feeling,
wrong. That was the
love.
wrong lump. Fair enough. Hang on,
Anyway,
just 1 second.
back to the challenge.
Yeah, could you just
it
hold
all
those,
started
Susie? Thank you.
in the... it all starting on a
John,
freezing
just put your
cold
hand there.
morning in the North Yorkshire moors.
Susie.
Will you stop it?
So, do you have any clue at all while we're here?
No, it was lovely to be here, though, wasn't it? It was a very nice drive up.
I'm terrified. You know when you just don't know what's happening to you?
Oh, it'll be fine.
It won't be fine though, John.
right. I'm gonna call you.
It won't be fine, will it?
In what is fast becoming a gadget show tradition, we were told where to meet, but not what we'd be doing. In this case, where to meet was a snow-covered car park in the middle of a forest in North Yorkshire.
And this looks like... Is this for us?
Here we go, babe.
Thank you very much. Ah, the envelope. Thank you. Here we go.
Good work.
The Gadget Show's Grand Wild Challenge. Welcome to outside. It's a fantastic place full of fresh, clean air, fun activities and wonderful gadgets.
OK, you'll be spending the next 24 hours enjoying the great British countryside.
Believe it or not, outside is often overlooked at this time of year because of the weather.
Yeah.
Well, a wise man once said there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing.
Let's find out. These boxes contain everything you'll need to face up to some harsh British weather.
Harsh British weather. Enjoy. Shall I open my box
I
first?
think you should.
Okay.
My box contains some of the latest and most gadgety snowboard clothing.
Click wheel compatible glove. Woohoo!
Wow! It does have speakers.
Stereo!
This jacket has speakers in the hood to listen to an iPod or mobile phone, and this panel in the arm controls them via Bluetooth. My gloves have patented silicone fingertips to help control your MP3 player, and my boots offer protection down to -32 degrees. Finally, my trousers can stand up to the pressure of 10,000 millimetres of water before I get wet.
Good, right, shall I open mine up?
Yeah.
I've not got the rubbish cardboard box! This is great!
I've been given the very best hiking gear there is. The jacket and trousers are both made from Gore-Tex, the breathable waterproof clothing invented back in 1978. Even my boots have a Gore-Tex liner. My lightweight outer layers keep rain out. The skin-tight inner layers move sweat away from my skin, keeping me dry and warm.
Rather worryingly, I think this implies I might have the joke box.
Oh, no.
I had a full tweed suit, though it isn't necessarily a laughing matter. This is technical tweed, a combination of classic style and the latest technology. The cap, jacket and trousers are made from incredibly tightly woven tweed, nylon and Teflon. The boots are water-resistant full-grain leather.
Oh, John looks so at home in that kit.
Hey, Mark.
God, we just look like his staff.
We do, we look like his chav neighbours.
Join us later when we'll be putting our new outfits to the test as we find out which is best for the outdoor life.
What the hell is that?
Well, I thought we all looked remarkably jovial at that stage of the morning.
Yeah, at that stage.
I mean, North York Moors is one of my favourite bits of countryside, and I was really looking forward to an idyllic couple of days.
Yeah, that word idyllic, you see, that's not how I remember it.
The reason why we were in North Yorkshire was to test the clothing, and they were extreme tests. And I implore you to watch these challenges. They were fantastic, especially if you like watching presenters suffer.
Time for a short break now, but straight afterwards, enjoy the spectacle of us in agony as we test Gadget clothing.
So I'm not very happy about the St John's envelopes.
And later we'll show you what happens when Susie tries a somersault on a mountain bike.
Slow, slow, slow!
Welcome back now. If you don't mind, I think we should rejoin our wilderness challenge.
If you remember, John, Susie and I had just been kitted out with some rather impressive outdoor clothing.
I was equipped with tried and tested traditional technology, waterproof tweed, including leather boots and a tweed cap.
Yep, and I had some pretty natty snowboarding kit, including this jacket that was wired for sound.
My kit wasn't half bad. High-tech in the kind of waterproof and warmth department, so head-to-toe underneath thermals and basically Gore-Tex everywhere else.
So we had our kit, but how would it be tested? Well, as we rejoin the story, we're all kitted up and about to learn our fate.
I'm a bit worried about my vulnerable
What the
areas.
hell is that?
Win the team!
This antenna-type water device, which I suspect is going to rain down on us.
Oh, that's water, is it?
Wind!
Wind, water,
Snow.
Winter.
Excellent, I love snow.
Look at this! Twister! Wait, going to play Twister?
Twister!
How do you play Twister?
We were right. We'd be testing our clothes' flexibility and waterproofing by playing a game of Twister, while being blasted by the wind machine, rain machine and snow machine.
The 6,000 RPM wind machine started up and was soon pumping out a 65-mile-an-hour storm.
Left hand, blue!
It didn't take long for us to end up in a giggling heap on the floor. As you can see, though, all of these outfits are perfectly suited to arsing around and didn't restrict us at all.
Then the rain came. This nozzle fires out 40 litres of rain a minute, and we were soon rolling around in mud.
It's really important to stay dry, as your body loses heat 23 times faster than normal if your clothes get wet.
My Gore-Tex clothes are waterproofed by an ultra-thin membrane with 9 billion tiny pores per square inch. These pores are smaller than a drop of water, but big enough for water vapour molecules to escape the other way, keeping your skin sweat-free.
My snowboard jacket uses a waterproof technology originally designed for the military. Millions of tiny air pockets keep out water and trap hot air to keep you warm in the nastiest conditions.
To completely repel water, my technical tweed has a Teflon coating. Teflon, commonly used on non-stick frying pans, holds the record for the slipperiest substance on Earth, so water just slides off.
It was fine a minute ago, but I've just felt a slight sensation of dampness. Thank you.
Tea, anyone?
So how did your kit fare?
Well, the problem for me is this is a bum freezer, as my nan used to always say. My back's really cold,
Yes,
and a little bit wet actually. Some of the water and the snow got underneath my jacket.
I've got the same thing around the back. My sort
freezer.
of thermal underwear is moist, all right?
Is it?
Yeah, but it's from the machine, it's not me. It came from the outside. And the thing is, what I've got in abundance with this kit is flexibility.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wearing a pair of pyjamas. That's how flexible I feel.
These are absolutely fantastic. I mean, they look traditional on the outside, but they're obviously very high-tech on the inside.
Yeah.
My boot and tweed seal worked very well.
What a
I'm
combo.
very dry inside. My weak point, I think, is the cap. It keep blowing off.
Oh, that's no good, is
That
it?
was Jace.
No good.
If you looked at the three of us, you'd probably think that Jason or I would be the most protected against water, where it turns out, actually,
It's John.
you've
I
done
am
rather
here.
well out of
Yes.
it.
Classic style that transcends the whims of fashion.
I like that.
Continuing the theme of secrecy surrounding this challenge, we were ordered to stand behind a car and wait for the next clothing test to be revealed.
No, you're joking.
Can I just say I'm not very happy about the fact that St John's ambulance here.
We had to find out which of us had the best cold weather insulation. The challenge was to spend 30 minutes in these bathtubs full of ice. Whoever's temperature dropped the least would be the winner.
I paid a lot of money, right, this New Year to go to a very posh spa with my girlfriend, and I actually had one of them.
You do these
No,
voluntarily?
I paid to go in one of these things.
Well, I think this is the most ridiculous thing we've ever done on the Gadget Show.
I say, bring it on.
The air temperature alone was hovering around freezing. So to prepare for our icy ordeal, we went on a little warm-up.
The average human body temperature is nearly 37 degrees C. When your temperature drops below 35, then you start to run the risk of hypothermia.
Obviously, don't try this at home. We had safety gear and our temperature was monitored the whole time. If it dropped too low, we were out of there.
Yeah, my legs are cold.
Look at the way the ice cubes stick to my gloves. Look at that.
How's it going, Suze?
Yeah, I'm getting colder. Are you shivering?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
My tweed outfit incorporates a silky inner liner that traps warm air close to the skin, keeping me warm. I was actually enjoying myself immensely and felt fine, but I was about to be dealt a cruel blow.
35-0. Just...
Oh! Build them on the go!
I feel fine now. It's outrageous. I'd reached the 35-degree cut-off point without even noticing.
You've been evicted from the bath!
I'm a victim of health and safety.
Now it was between me and Susie. Like John, I was relying on layers. My Berghaus coat alone had 3 separate layers stitched into it, and the ultra-stretchy fleece underneath was keeping my skin dry and trapping my body heat.
I was relying purely on my Audex jacket's filling of goose feathers, or down as it's known. The very warmest feathers that go into Arctic clothing come from old Eastern European geese. My down wasn't quite that good, but it could protect me in sub-zero temperatures, which was coming in handy. As the minutes went by, we were starting to feel colder and colder.
I have to say, I'm reaching the point now where I would say I'm in agony. My fingers have got pins and needles and are really, really painful.
It's just really cold. It's just a battle of wills now between me and Miss Perry.
Right, we've been in for half an hour now, which is our cut-off point for safety reasons, you'll be glad to know.
Hurrah!
Right, so we're going to take both your temperatures, and whoever is the highest wins.
37.3.
37.3! That's like, you've got a temperature. Maybe more than 30. Is it?
36.9.
Yes!
36.9, you're out.
Yay!
Give you a hand. He's won. That means he can stay in.
Hey? Where's the logic in that?
I've never been so happy that you've won a challenge.
Well, guys,
Just gonna get some tea, yeah?
you're going to help
See
me
you
get out,
later.
yeah?
Bye.
You're going to help me get out? Guys! What are you getting in the car for? Hey! Help! Is that a bear?
I was almost licked to death when you were away in your restaurant or wherever you were for 3 or 4 hours as the ice cubes melded into one huge block of ice. The fire brigade spent 7 days trying to get me out of that.
The one point I'd like to make to you is that we did spend, Jason and I, a full half an hour in that bath, and it was -2 degrees outside.
Yeah,
it was freezing.
very cold.
And I think, you know, well done to these clothes because they kept us really warm for all that time.
And very dry.
Yep.
Because it felt wet, didn't it, when you were in there? But actually, when I got out and I'd warmed up, I was actually bone dry. Really effective technology.
Exactly. It was the hands that was the problem. I think all the blood was leaving there to replenish our major organs.
Now it's time for the critical list.
Every week on the Critical List, we look at what's latest and what's best in a particular area of gadgetry. This week it's MP3 players, and you can start.
Thanks, Susie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the Zune. It's Microsoft's attempt to claw back a little bit of the ground that Apple and their iPod have obviously been owning for the last couple of years. And what's unique about this little 30-gig digital music, video and picture player is that you can share the content on its hard drive, OK? Say I'm on a train and there's another Zune owner sat opposite me and I want to share some music with them, I get chatting. I simply go into the wireless settings. I find their little unit nearby, looks searching for Zoom devices. If it finds their device, I press a button and it sends wirelessly the track I'm listening to them.
So it just pairs up with the nearest Zoom owner?
But they get by the obvious issues with that, because at the end of the day, someone owns that song, and they obviously, they wouldn't be happy if everyone was getting their music for free. You're only allowed to play it 3 times. 3 plays is enough for you to decide whether you like a track, and then you can go. All you need to do is to click on the track once it's been sent to you, and you can automatically buy it. I've got to show you the video though, because this is a 3-inch full-colour screen. I'll just give it a play. It goes in landscape or
what's the quality like
horizontal,
then?
vertical format. There's me. I just recorded this over there using a webcam.
Oh, wow.
This is the TV behind us. You can see that the video quality is excellent. I mean, that doesn't do it justice. That was at low res on a webcam. It's also got an FM tuner in it, so a pretty rich feature set. But obviously, the people it's trying to market to have already bought an MP3 player, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this device does over the next 12 months.
I always think that one of the ultimate challenges for any device manufacturer is to get their device into a watch.
Yeah.
And this company, iGo, have quite an impressive range of MP3 playing watches. Press this button here and all the watch knobs turn into MP3 control knobs. You can shuffle down through tracks, change volume, press record to record voice memos and so forth. It connects directly to the computer. It's got a 1 gigabyte capacity, enough for 9 hours of music. And it sounds pretty good as well. Another good feature is that the battery is different for the player than from the watch. So when your rechargeable MP3 player battery goes down, you don't find yourself not knowing what the time is. One slightly bad thing, this lovely sort of socket here, is that it is actually a 2.5mm rather than a 3.5mm socket. So you can't use your favourite set of headphones, which is a nuisance. But other than that, it does actually sound pretty good.
OK, do you want to know what I've got? The latest offering from Skull Candy.
You're shouting.
Am I?
Yes.
Oh, do I look cool though?
Yeah.
Icebox, baby.
Thank you very much. Integrated MP3 player into these DJ-style-y headphones, and I think they do look cool. And if you don't want to use the headphones, you can just slide out the MP3 player here and just stick the battery on the bottom.
What's the capacity?
512 megabytes. And you can use these as normal headphones as well, just with your regular line-in cable.
Skull Candy is the brand for gamers if you want, serious sound.
Yeah.
Now it's time to return to our epic battle against the elements in the next part of our wilderness challenge. Oh, hey, look out, trees, bear, run for your lives, naked people. Don't join them. Be careful with torches. All right? Lost a very good friend.
Thank you. After our time spent in the bath, we were then given a couple of hours to recover, but not in a nice, caring sort of way.
No, we were hanging around in the cold, waiting for it to get dark.
Here we go, here we go.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Envelope, chaps.
Yes.
The Gadget Show's Grand Wild Challenge. It's night time. Yeah, thanks for that. And there's not much to see, but that doesn't mean that you can take it easy.
Oh, you are about to go for a walk in the forest. Oh, that sounds nice and easy.
Keep your eyes peeled. There could be some nasty surprises along the way. I don't like this.
Have you seen the Blair Witch Project?
Oh, no, don't. I don't like that film.
This part of the challenge is all about testing night vision. In the box are 3 different night vision devices, all of varying quality. As Jason won the clothing test, he gets first pick.
I've got the real deal over here.
Oh, look at him.
I've got the real deal. Wicked.
In this case, the real deal is the very best pair of night vision goggles you can buy. Anything better than this is the exclusive preserve of the military. These goggles weigh just 70 grams, have a 40-degree field of view, and include their own short-range infrared torch to see when things get really dark.
Having come second in the last challenge, I went next.
Night vision.
I got these extremely popular 5x magnification binoculars that can also be used during daylight hours. They have an effective night range of up to 300 yards, and they also have their own built-in infrared torch.
I've got a very inferior-looking, feeble thing.
You've got some opera glasses.
I'd come last in the clothing test, and it looked like I'd drawn the short straw this time, with these toy night vision goggles. They're designed for 8-year-olds and come with a built-in infrared lamp and sound-enhancing earpiece.
To test our night vision gadgets, we had to get around a course as quickly as possible, hopefully avoiding the waiting surprises. If we got caught out, then we could expect a time penalty.
So you can see we filmed the course with a special night vision camera.
John headed out first while we waited nervously.
All I can see is if I point my head right down at the ground, I can see a small disc of light about sort of half a metre wide. I can't think of any torch I've ever used which is worse than this.
At night, around 70% of the available light photons are infrared. Night vision goggles work by picking up and amplifying these particles, turning them into an image you can see. It's green because the human eye can differentiate more shades of green than any other colour. The beam of light you can see is actually an infrared transmitter attached to my goggles. All 3 sets have one, and while it's invisible to the human eye, our goggles can pick the beam up to enhance their night vision. That's the theory anyway, but it didn't seem to work for me.
This is absolutely glacial progress.
Being unable to see, I stumbled into the first surprise, a trip.
What is that?
No.
Did you hear that?
Ow!
The barking made John jump, but it really put the wind up me waiting at the start line.
You know about these woods and stuff, don't you?
Don't! It's not funny.
No, but it's important that you know.
Like that
No, it's important that you know about... You don't want to know about the serial killer.
Recovering, I made my way obliviously onwards, only to run straight into the next surprise, a ghoulish zombie.
I can't see it's a stream, but I can hear. It's a strange, luminous creature.
Stumbling on, I eventually came across a mysterious button.
You can see that. Press this button. Hey!
Tell me, I missed it.
Hey! Fireworks!
I hadn't noticed the small grey don't in the corner. A problem with night vision, especially cheap night vision, is its reliance on heavily contrasting colours. I couldn't see the light grey writing on the white paper, hence I triggered the firework booby trap.
It's pretty useless, this thing. I think it'd be better off without it at all, I'm sorry to say. Well, certainly any torch would be better. Nice fireworks, eh?
I'd heard enough to know that there were some dogs, some explosives, and some strange groaning, and I was, quite frankly, terrified.
Remember, if you feel anything brushing against you, it's not a tree.
I don't want anything to touch me.
It's skeleton hands.
Oh, no.
These binoculars are designed for long-range viewing of things. They're typical binoculars, really, and I could only focus down to 5 yards. Every time I looked at a leaf on the floor, it seemed massive, and then when I tried to walk, it made me feel sick. I had to keep refocusing. I could see the course, or I could see where I was putting my feet, but not both at the same time. So I didn't notice the tripwire.
Scary, really, isn't it? Being on your own.
And I ran straight into the zombie.
Susie seems to have encountered the hermit in the woods. I must get Smithers out with the man-traps.
I'd fallen foul of the first 2 surprises, but I made it past the 3rd. I was able to make out the tiny grey don't in the corner of the sign.
A minute ago, I just had a sign on this tree, and don't press this button. No, I don't want to...
These binoculars would be ideal if I didn't have to worry about where I was putting my feet, as well as what was coming up. For some covert-operation-style bird-watching, for instance, they'd come into their own.
Do you know what?
What?
That was very scary.
Then it was my turn, and I couldn't wait.
And if you want.
With these goggles, I could see using just the light from the stars. That's a massive 10 million times less than the light you'd get on a sunny day.
Next sign, got it.
Unfortunately, it was a cloudy, snowy night, so I needed the built-in illuminator to see. It's basically a super powerful infrared torch. It wasn't exactly covert, but I had nothing to hide. And it helped me spot both the tripwire and the zombie.
Good outfit, man. I do hope he's one of the crew.
The main part of night vision is the image intensifier, a kind of vacuum tube that gathers the infrared photons and turns them into something you can see. The better the tube, the better the night vision. and these tornado goggles have the best tube you can buy.
It says don't press this button. Full on. All right, I won't.
My super night vision goggles enabled me to make it through the test unscathed.
Hey, you did that pretty quick.
Oh, great. These are great.
I was the clear winner, and it's not hard to see why.
After triggering all 3 traps, I came in a woeful last place with a time of 14 minutes.
I came in second. After stumbling into the tripwire and zombie, my time with penalties was a rather frightened 10.5 minutes.
With no time penalties at all, I made it through in an amazing 4 minutes.
Yay! 2-0. All right, that's 4-0, I admit. All right, I'm exaggerating. 2-0.
Insufferable. Not only, though, is it 2-0, but you whipped around that course and it took John and I about 10 minutes.
15 years, right? Groping around, fumbling into everything.
Well, let's go for G ratings. What would you give yours?
I'd give these no Gs.
Really?
Because they're, I mean, even as a toy, they're horribly unsatisfying. And actually, as a serious tool, you couldn't even barely find your way out of a wardrobe.
Oh, dear.
OK, well, look, I'm going to give these 3 Gs. Not for running around woods at night. They're no good for that. But you can see at a reasonable distance and quite clearly. And they're very simple to use and quite inexpensive.
Because these are £4,000, I'm not going to give them 5 Gs, but I am going to give them 4 Gs. If you do a job where you're required to be outside at night, these are absolutely spot on. But there was some other kit that was being used during our challenge that you didn't get to see. And it was this, a night vision add-on unit for a tiny, inexpensive camcorder. Once it's mounted, it's really nicely balanced. And you've seen the quality of some of the footage that we shot using this device. Absolutely amazing. I just think it's a beautiful bit of kit. Hey, tell you what, shall I do the next link? Do you want to film me?
Yeah.
Coming up now, a break, but after then, make sure you join us for the climax of our wilderness challenge when everything goes horribly wrong. I'm not joking, we're talking stitches for our Susie. Welcome back. Now, I'm glad you joined us because you're about to have a lesson. A lesson in extreme mountain biking, yeah? A lesson in taking the knocks and bouncing back, Susie. And, more importantly, a lesson in how to cover up for a cameraman who missed the single most important shot of the entire Gadget Show series. Tom.
I told you, she was behind a tree.
She was behind a tree. All right, fair enough. Look, if all of this is confusing you, don't worry. Just stay with us, and I promise you it will all become painfully clear.
You see, the final part of our wilderness challenge was a mountain bike race.
Each of us had to choose one of these 3 bikes to compete on. And because Jason had won both rounds of the challenge so far, he was allowed to make the first choice.
And I chose this, the gorgeous white E5, the creme de la creme of mountain bikes, the burning desire in the hearts of all men who wear lycra with little chamois leather gussets, even when they don't have to.
And because Susie came second in both rounds of the challenge so far, she got to make the second choice.
Yep, and I chose this, the Hummer Tactical Mountain Bike. It's lightweight, it folds up, and it's used by US paratroopers.
Which meant I was left with this, probably the bike you'd be least likely to choose for a wilderness challenge, the Urban Mover U-Glider UM36. What's remarkable about it is that it's the world's first mountain bike with electric power. Thanks to this battery and this motor, you're given assistance while you're pedalling.
So, equipped with our bikes, we lined up on the start line.
Or you could taste the tension.
Could you?
After everything we'd been through over the previous day and night, it was race time, and we were raring to go.
1, 2, 3. Ah, go!
The race was over 3 stages, carrying, on-road and off-road.
Straight away, the weight of my electric urban mover held me back.
It's immensely heavy. This is like the battery from your car attached to a bike.
23 kilos was a lot to carry.
Oh, it's slippy.
My tactical Hummer is designed to be folded for US paratroopers to jump out of a plane with. But I wasn't jumping out of a plane. I was in a race, and Jason was overtaking me. But at least I stayed well ahead of John, because my bike weighed a lot less than his.
I think I'm allowed to put one wheel down, you know.
My super sleek white only weighs 11 kilograms, and there was no stopping me. I had a clear lead as I headed into the on-road section of the race.
Made of aircraft-grade aluminium, the Hummer bike has no thermal or acoustic radar signature, so the bad guys can't detect you. It's also a hybrid-style bike, good for both on- and off-road biking.
My ultralight white is designed for off-road use, and the suspension, fat tyres and upright handlebars aren't ideally suited to a tarmac race. But if I'm being honest, I'm just picky. This bike is awesome.
This is where I started to feel the benefits of the Urban Mover's heavy battery and motor. This section of the course was down to the car park and back, more than enough time to catch up.
At the halfway stage, John was still lagging behind, but not for long.
On the return leg, the power-assisted pedalling allowed me to reach an effortless 15 miles an hour.
Flying Lord's on his way!
Get out of it! Good, isn't it? Oh, this is a ball like bicycling.
With ease, I zoomed past the other two, who were starting to flag a little with the sustained effort. I made it onto the off-road section first, closely followed by Susie and Jason. I was a little worried that my thin on-road tyres would fail me, but I ploughed on regardless.
I was sure this was where I'd take the lead back. The white is specifically designed for British weather and should roll on the slushy, muddy, snowy track. I haven't banked on a little shove from Susie, though.
I was now in second place, but trying to catch John proved more difficult than we thought.
Amazingly, the weight of my Urban Mover seemed to compensate for the thin tyres, and I barely had to check my pace.
Coming through.
John was rapidly disappearing into the distance, and me and Susie were jockeying for position in a bid to catch him.
Little did we know that neither of us would ever make it.
Oh, shit! Slow, slow, slow! Christ.
Ow.
Now, you may be wondering why we cut out of the race before it was finished and why you saw Susie sitting rather upset on the back of a lorry. The reason is you had an accident, didn't you?
Yes, I spent a whole day in A&E getting my knee stitched up as it was cut to the bone.
Oh, it sounds so painful. But don't worry, because we're going to enable you to see the entire incident in all of its gory detail, thanks to a reconstruction. 500 man-hours later, some of the best model builders in Great Britain, and we bring you a scale representation of the accident site. Now, you remember from watching the movie that John was out in first place. This is a scale model we had constructed. It's even got a batch on the back.
All right, brilliant. So I was whizzing down here way ahead.
Next up was Susie. That's uncanny, isn't it? OK, you want to grab that, Suze?
OK, yeah. So I was obviously trying to catch John up with Jason breathing down my neck.
I shouted coming through and started to pedal as hard as I could, but Susie was holding in there. She was much more powerful on the old pedals than I was. I cut in tight on the corner.
So I had to veer left to let him come through, thus hitting the tree stump that sent me flying over the handlebars. I think I went this high. It was so high. Spun round, got my legs tangled, smacked my knee really hard, and then just landed like landed like that.
Then I jumped off, ran over to Susie and gave her CPR. Look.
No, you did not.
All right, I didn't, but I said, "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm okay, but I think I've hurt my knee." And then all these guys came over, and there was about 10 guys on Susie, 3 guys who aren't actually part of the team. It's like a farmer and a couple of mates.
And I wasn't that injured before you all jumped on top
At
of
one
me.
point I couldn't see you. There was just hundreds of people around Susie. So that's how Susie came to very slightly graze her knee.
Grazed my knee. I still can't walk properly, and it was all your fault coming too close and trying to cut me out like that.
You know, it was a tragedy. OK, I grant you that, but not as big a tragedy as the fact that the whole challenge was null and void because we didn't finish the race when I was clearly going to win.
But not this race. I was in the lead there.
So it's null and void. Nobody wins.
However, we were there to test mountain bikes.
Yep.
So I think G ratings are called for. Susie.
OK, the Hummer tactical mountain bike I thought was a really great all-rounder. I'm going to give it 4 Gs. Not that I probably will ever ride it again.
My U-Glider, I'd also give that 4 Gs. I was absolutely dreading it when I got it, but then it was really great on-road and off. It's the sort of bike you'd really want to ride.
Fantastic. You know what? I'm going to give my white E5 5 Gs. It's expensive, OK, but it's not silly money. I can't see anything wrong with it. It excels in every single area, on-road, off-road, and holistically magnificent piece of kit.
So you quite liked it then?
Yeah, it was all right.
That's the second 5G rating that we've had on the Gadget Show.
Very bold.
We certainly are. There's some great gadgets out there, and there are some great gadgets on next week's show.